One of the biggest topics in business right now is AI, but beyond the buzz, AI is becoming a real tool that can change how businesses operate, how teams get work done, and how customers experience a company. We're going to explore what is possible, what this can actually look like inside a business, and why it matters right now. And welcome to the 5K5. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And I got Jonathan on the 5K5 today.
Yeah.
You guys have seen him before, you've met him. But for those new listeners, I didn't ask you about this yet, but what is a fun fact about yourself?
Fun fact, I'm very nerdy. I think that's usually not known just because I'm much more focused on like business growth and like serious topics, but I can get very nerdy on some pretty interesting topics.
Like Star Wars nerdy?
No, more like tech nerdy.
Okay, I like it. That's a geek. That's not a nerd.
Okay, a geek. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little better. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So Jonathan, without further ado, do you want to just dive right in?
So I think when we look at like today's landscape with like how AI is being integrated in companies, chatbots has been a big thing for a long time. I would say it's less so now. It's more of like an expected foundation. What I want to talk more about today, and this is going to be brief, we have more like consulting calls if you want to get into more detail, but essentially where things are going now is it's advancing beyond just, do you have a chatbot on your website that's really well trained on your company? To, are you utilizing conversational AI in the prospecting and sales process, which we'll get into a little bit. And then also beyond that, is your team empowered to use AI in a way where AI actually has access to all the information that your team has access to? Because if you're trying that and you don't give it the access, it's going to fall flat on its face and you're going to say AI doesn't work, but just because you configured it improperly. But to get started, just to lay the foundation here, you have to at least have some sort of AI on your website to converse with clients. Otherwise, you're just behind the foundation. This is a system we created, 5K Chat. I just have a quick chatbot I created here on the fly before this conversation. So this is not like a live production one, but here I can go into preview mode and I can ask it, this is a preview of what it could look like on our website. I can say, what services do you offer for paid advertising? And what it's doing here is it's using, in this case, it's using a similar model of what ChatGPT is using on the back end, but it is fully trained on all the information on our website, all our policies, procedures, et cetera. And it just answered, as you can see, very quickly and very accurately about what we offer. Now I can say, how much does that cost? And I know at this point, I don't want to give that cost information to our customers right off the bat. I want them to talk to a person. So we've trained the chatbot to say, when there's a situation where a person really needs to get involved, go ahead and answer as AI and give the best possible answer, but then show a contact form.
Nice.
So if I was to fill out this contact form here, and it already gives me the message of, I'm interested in learning more about pricing for your paid advertising services, et cetera, I can just simply fill out this form within the chatbot experience, which is somewhat unusual in some situations, submit that, and then continue on with the conversation if I want to. Our sales team gets that lead information, they can follow up, et cetera. So this is really foundational. That's all I wanted to share in terms of screen share. The two big areas that I think businesses can benefit from now is from the external facing side. I mentioned, using AI to converse with prospects and leads and a sales perspective. What we're doing right now for a couple clients is plugging in very intelligent AI into the lead follow-up process. Mm-hmm. There are tons of studies you can find online. In a nutshell, we've studied a bunch of different case studies and scenarios and all that. And what we've noticed is that on average, we're seeing that if you have 100 leads that were generated, let's say they were generated all at the exact same time, if your sales team takes an hour to follow up with those individuals, you might only get a hold of 2 of them after an hour. And then, the leads suck. They're not great leads. Well, you took an hour to follow up with them. Most businesses take well over an hour. If you shorten that time down to only 5 minutes, most likely you're going to get more like 10 leads followed up with there. If you shorten that down to 1 minute, most likely you're going to get anywhere from 30 to 40 that actually answer and can get qualified. So that speed to lead is incredibly impactful. Yet, how do you, as a CEO, sales director, whatever your role you're in, how do you get your sales team to follow up within a minute? Especially when they're putting together a long proposal. What do? Get interrupted every 10 minutes as a lead comes through? No, you can plug in an AI system. You have to get the right system and you have to set up in the right way. There are tons and tons of garbage ones out there that no business should be spending money on. We can give you some recommendations if you hop on a call with us, but basically use the right system to do outbound text and voice. So you do a strategic combination of a nearly immediate text message that goes out, and then you follow up with, an AI caller that calls them. When you use the right model, the right infrastructure and all that, the right prompting, it's actually incredibly human sounding. It's crazy how good it sounds. Using that to follow up, and then have that AI book calls for your sales team. Now all of a sudden your sales team is spending time actually talking with the right individuals. So that's that last part, and then I'll be quiet here. Internal facing. And this is the part that most companies aren't aware even exists yet, but has existed for the last at least 6 months in full production swing. We're using this very, very heavily here internally. You basically have something called an AI harness. And again, we can go over that in a separate, call if you want to have a conversation with us. You use an AI harness, which is something on your computer where it's using AI, but it's not chatgpt.com, it's not claude.com. It's using the same AI power on the back end, but it actually has access to files on your computer. It has access to whatever you give it access to, server information, your email account, Google Drive, Microsoft Drive, files and everything. You could use that then to empower your team to do things like, hey, create a custom proposal for this specific client, or have the finance team say, hey, do a reconciliation for last month's transactions, have a human in the loop component where they say, okay, yes, this is good. No, this is wrong. Fix this, fix that. And then say, hey, update this in QuickBooks, and then have it actually connect into QuickBooks while you're on your computer. Have AI actually connect into QuickBooks and make those updates for you. Again, don't do it without a proper implementation because you don't want to connect into QuickBooks and destroy information accidentally.
Yeah.
But if you do it in the right way with the right safeguards, it is mind-blowing and incredible how much more efficient your team can become. We're living proof of that ourselves. We have clients that we can share testimonials of as well. But that's really the journey that businesses are going through. If you're not already using a website-based chatbot, at least start with that. From there, start using it for interacting with prospects and leads. And then from there, take it into your internal teams and have them start using that as a way to empower them to get more work done and more accurate output from the work.
Yeah. Now, question for you: for the people who are hearing about this AI having access to all these things, and they think to themselves, "Hold on a second, I don't know that I want them to get access to all that stuff,"
Right.
or security issues, things like that, because it is a real thing.
Yeah.
What would you say to kind of ease their tension a little bit?
Yeah, well, there's definitely a lot of automations out there where there's been a lot of press around OpenClaw and different things like that, where you can give it free access to anything, and it is very, very destructive. So you definitely don't want someone in your company who's just interested in AI to Google how to do this stuff and try it out for you. You need it's called a systems architect engineer that's actually going to go into your organization and determine what needs to connect into where, and almost map out on a chart who in your organization needs access to which things and what should they specifically not have access to. And when they do have access to something, should they only be able to view it or should they be able to edit it as well? It's very boilerplate stuff that you would go through when you're creating a new system from scratch, like if you migrated from Microsoft to Google Drive or something, but this is just applied to the AI world. So that's the foundation of it. There's a lot more I don't have time to get into in this call here specifically, or this conversation here specifically, but it comes down to creating different types of files in your harness architecture that tell AI to do a certain thing and to never do a certain thing. And then part of it is training your team on how to do that properly. So you could have a team member that's if they're intentionally trying to cause harm, they can cause harm, of course, just like they can cause harm without AI. That doesn't change. But if you have the right kind of employees and you have the right guardrails in place, it would be very difficult to make a destructive mistake if it's architected properly.
Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on. Listeners, thank you so much for listening, and tune in for the next one. Peace out.